What's up, guys? Corbin May with Pursuit Properties. I've got a very special guest this month. Adam, give you a chance to introduce yourself.
Yeah, Adam Black, Cross Country Mortgage, here in the area. I've been in the business 20 years now, almost 21 years now. So do anything residential lending from the ground up: construction, purchase, refinance, barn dominiums, renovation, anything to do with financing on your primary or investment properties, single family homes. We do it.
Awesome, awesome. Well, I've had the pleasure to work a lot of deals with you. You're fantastic. Wouldn't want to work with anybody else. But let's just jump kind of right to the
Let's get into it.
overbearing question everyone asks, man. What are current interest rates right now?
I haven't been asked that in the last 10 minutes. Man, that's the big one right now. And, as far as interest rates go, everything is about where it's been for the last 6 or 8 months. So just a regular conventional 30-year mortgage is floating somewhere around that high 6, low 7 range, all of it depending on the scenario. A lot of people don't realize there are up to 70 different factors that factor into an interest rate. Now, of course, the biggest being credit and your loan to value, how much money you're putting down. Those are the two biggest compensating factors. Then you get into your government loans like your FHA, USDA, VA. Those are all in the mid sixes, maybe even down into the low sixes. So kind of a spot where we've been, man, really, other than a few dips and a few little spikes, we've been there since October 22.
Yeah. Yeah. What would you say, like, a lot of people I feel like kind of have I call it the 3% hangover, like everyone's kind of like stuck thinking that we're going to get back there. I think a lot of people know we're not, but like, what do you think of like the last 30 years? Where are interest rates like right now compared to like a 30-year average?
They're average. Average rate over the last 30 years on conventional 30 years, somewhere around 6.5%.
Yeah.
So we're right there where we've been. We all got spoiled to those low rates, and not only just the low rates, but how long they lasted. So you have a huge amount of people that are at those rates, and they don't want to lose that, which I get. I totally understand that.
So what would you tell someone that say they locked in at like a 3% interest rate, was it 4 or 5 years ago when we were seeing those numbers, but families are growing, they're thinking about moving, thinking about expanding, but they don't want to lose that rate. What are some things that you would tell them to, not only ease their mind, but just, kind of explain that kind of the market and maybe what they want to do and maybe some of their options?
Well, I mean, first of all, nobody's moving for fun anymore. There was a time there when everybody was just riding along on Sunday and saw a nice home and had low, the new rates. They knew that low rates were available and they jumped on it. So now it's more of, like you said, family expanding, divorce. What are the D's they call it? Diapers, diplomas, divorce, and I think there's one more. But here's what I say when I have this conversation with people and they're going from a 3% rate to a 7% rate is it's all about budget. In the end, we're all payment buyers. I don't care what anybody says. You're a payment buyer if you're financing a home. So it's sitting down, looking at your budget, taking a holistic approach to that budget and going, where are we comfortable at? And then backing into that purchase price. And if that fits, then it's okay to do something. If it doesn't, you need to sit still. You need to figure something out. A lot of people don't think about that. I don't like the term anymore, and I used it as much as anybody of, marry the home and date the rate, because we've been dating the rate for a long time now. It's a long-term relationship, but rates will eventually come back down. So if you can afford a higher rate right now and you feel comfortable and it fits into that monthly budget, then I think it's okay to do something.
So what do you see kind of our market forecast? I know there's been a lot of changes in kind of the government level and the Fed, a lot of stuff going on there. What are you kind of, I guess, forecasting? I know we can't rub a magic genie bottle. What are you seeing in the next 6-12 months?
My crystal ball is broken, unfortunately, but there's a lot of things going on right now. One, we've got the new administration that's caused a lot of disruption, good or bad, whether you agree with them or not. It's just disruption. The tariffs has really caused a lot of volatility in the market. All that impacts rates. Now, we've got something new coming on right now at the time of this film, and we're late July. We've got a situation where our Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, is being forced out, forced to resign. Could that happen? I don't know. It's anybody's call. If he does, Jerome has been very staunch on not wanting to lower the Fed rate. which would help inflation. I always tell people, if you want to know what mortgage rates are doing, watch inflation. If inflation is going down, so are mortgage rates. He's wanting to bring that down very slowly. We get somebody new in there that, you know, is basically a puppet of the administration. They could do something drastic, and it could impact rates quickly. Now, there's a downside to that. A big downside is we're going to pay for that sooner or later.
Yep.
And that's what we're doing right now.
Yep.
You know, we're paying for those low rates. So I don't want to see, personally, somebody's been in this 20 years now, I want to see it to be just a general taper. You know, I don't want to see a big drop real quick. That's not going to be good for anybody.
Yep. So I agree.
Yeah. So to answer your question, where are they going to go? I feel like they're going to go down. Whether Jerome stays in there or not, they're going to go down.
Yeah.
How soon that'll be, I don't know.
And I mean, we've been seeing that over the last year. I mean, we've had a steady trend.
We have.
Kind of like trickle down. I think this time last year, were we in the kind of higher sevens?
We were. We got up into the mid sevens. I think I locked one interest rate over 8. You know, and I always tell people that, you know, rates are they take the elevator up and they take the escalator down.
Yeah.
You know, so that's something to remember. They're not going to go down as quick as they went up.
Yeah. Like 2020, 2021 was such an anomaly. I think that if you're waiting on that.
October 22 is when they started going back up, and they jumped up quick.
Yeah.
I mean, literally, we went from 4% rates to 7% rates, and I'd have to go back and look for probably a 6-month period. Yeah. They're not going to come back down that quick.
Gotcha. So say someone is applying for a mortgage, you know, like, you know, they got to come up with the money down. They're looking at the interest rate, but like, you know, what are some creative ways? I know you mentioned that there's 70 things that people can, you know, kind of ties into their loans. What are some creative things? I know that a buyback is like something. Is there something?
Buy down.
Buy down. Yep. Like that's a common thing in the market. Maybe kind of explain some options there.
Yeah. So the buy downs are something we've used a lot the last few years. You've got 2 buy downs. You've got a permanent rate buy down. That's where you're paying an upfront fee to buy that rate down, say from 7% to 6.75.
Okay.
On average, and again, it changes daily, 1% of your loan amount is going to buy that rate down 1/4 point.
Okay.
So not a big number when you're looking around here, $300,000 house, $3,000 to buy it down 1/4 point. Now, the one I love is the temporary rate buy down.
Okay.
And that is usually seller funded. It could be seller or lender. And we call them a 2-1 or 3-2-1. And what that means is, like, if you qualify for a 7% rate, year 1, you're going to pay 5%, 2% lower. Year 2, 6%, 1% lower. Years 3 and on, you move back to that qualifying rate. Okay. So you're temporarily buying that rate down. It's kind of a dip your toe in the water, get used to that new payment. What I love about it is that, one, it's a big change. You know, a $300,000 house, that's probably a $450 a month payment change, you know, that first year. But what I really love about it is the money that it takes to fund that. If rates do come back down in that 3-year period and we refinance, if there's any money left in there, it goes toward paying down the principal of the home.
Nice.
Yeah. Because with a permanent rate buy down, you may not have time to recoup that savings before you know they go back down.
Yeah.
So
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. So fiscally speaking, I would use it myself.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would do if I were buying a house today.
Yeah. Well, that's super helpful. So, Adam, what's the best way to get in touch with you?
Man, easiest way is my cell phone, 601-540-0302 or ablack@ccm.com.
Yeah, and I'll tag his information at the bottom of this video. So, Adam, really appreciate you coming on.
Thanks, brother.
Yeah,
appreciate it. All right, man.
All right, bye. See y'all.